Welcome to the Confident Retirement Podcast. How confident are you when it comes to life's biggest money decisions? What is real financial peace and how can you get it? Kris Flammang and Mark Peachy are the founders of LPF Advisors in Sarasota, Florida. They bring together the brightest minds to show you how to have a more confident financial future. They empower listeners with common sense concepts and financial wisdom. And now, here are your hosts, LPF Advisors.
Hey there, welcome to the Confident Retirement Podcast. I'm your host here as always, Kris Flammang. And today I'm going to do a quick episode on income generation in retirement or generating income in retirement. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the popular strategies that you can incorporate or use, and then some of the pros and the cons of those. And like anything else, being informed is paramount when you're making decisions about your retirement security and decisions about when to retire and how to do that. So, like I said, we'll be talking about those strategies today. With everything, you want to do some careful planning, and all of us are in pursuit of that goal of financial security and a comfortable retirement lifestyle. So let's dive right in. To start with, before you even consider what your retirement income sources might be, you want to start with assessing your current financial situation. So what are your assets and liabilities? What are your expenses, including your fixed expenses, which are essential, and your discretionary spending, things that you like to spend or that you choose to, and also taking into account what your income sources will be, both fixed and variable. So income sources, we'll talk about this a little bit. Some of them are fixed or set. Some of them are variable depending on where they come from. You also don't want to forget about healthcare costs. That's something a lot of people leave out, which can be a significant burden during retirement. Understanding, obviously, the different parts of health insurance and Medicare once you get to 65, and supplemental insurance plans that you can get, Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare plans. All of that will help you manage healthcare expenses effectively when you have a good understanding of that and how that's going to play into your overall expense picture. So doing an evaluation, a deep dive on this will help you set a realistic expectation for what your income is going to be able to pay for. And also, if it makes sense for you to retire, maybe push it off a little bit when it's a little bit more comfortable. Okay. So one of the main sources of retirement income for everyone is Social Security benefits. Understanding how that system works and optimizing your benefits, there's lots of different claiming strategies that you can employ, can make a really big difference in what your overall income is going to be from the Social Security system. So it's really important to potentially consult with someone who's a professional, either an advisor or someone who specializes in Social Security, in planning and claiming strategies to help you navigate the complexities of that. There's lots of different ways you can claim, especially if you're married. So you're going to want to know all those so you can maximize the amount of benefits that you're going to get. And especially when it comes to when and how to claim them, those are common questions that we get from clients that we work with, and we help people navigate that whole process. There are some other fixed income sources like company-provided pension plans. A lot of those don't exist anymore, but they are still around, and they can add security and stability of your income in retirement. There's lots of choices when you do have a company-provided pension on how to take those benefits. And decisions can have long-standing effects both for you and for your beneficiaries. So if you do have a pension and you have to make some decisions on that, you're going to want to get all the information and make an informed choice. All right. Now, when it comes to using investments to generate income in retirement, one popular strategy is to create a diversified investment portfolio and then take out what you consider to be a reasonable withdrawal percentage on either a monthly or an annual basis. And this tactic is often referred to as the total return approach. And what that's saying is that you're hoping that the total return over time keeps up with the amount that you are withdrawing either on a monthly or an annual basis. But one potential downside to this approach is not getting the returns that you need to keep up with the withdrawals that you do over time. And it also doesn't address living longer than your life expectancy, which is something we call longevity risk. So with this total return approach, there is no assurance that your money will last as long as you do. But it can be effective. It can work. But a lot of it depends on the returns that you get early on when you start taking the withdrawals. If those are average or good or bad, that can have a huge impact on how long the money will actually last. Now, I mentioned something there, creating a diversified portfolio. And just for educational purposes, diversification really involves spreading your investments across different asset classes, such as stocks, bonds, and cash. There's other asset classes that I won't get into. But diversification can help you manage the risks of things going up and down, and potentially can smooth out the bumps in the markets. Although last year, 2022, was very challenging when it came to that. But historically, it shows that different asset classes can help to mitigate the risk involved with different things going up and down at different times. Okay. Another potential income source in retirement for some people might be doing rental properties. And this can also be a viable option if you've done some planning in advance. So purchasing real estate and renting them out can provide a consistent monthly income as long as the place is rented on a consistent basis. Although it's very, very crucial to do research on the market that you're considering getting into, understanding local regulations as to whether you can rent short-term and long-term. And then you also really have to consider the responsibilities that come along with property management. Some people just are not cut out to be landlords, and that's okay, but you'd want to know that in advance. And you'd want to really try not to have a mortgage on any rental properties or a very small mortgage on those properties by the time you retire. So then you're maximizing the income that you're getting from them in retirement. All right. Now, what about side hustles? You hear a lot about these. Many retirees can find success in starting their own business or maybe some freelancing opportunities. If you've got a skill or a passion or something that is a marketable skill that you developed during your working years, you may want to consider turning it into a source of income. Things like consulting or writing or specialized services can generate income while allowing you to work on your terms and make your own schedule. Now, you are going to want to take into account when you take your Social Security and doing these side hustles, because income from consulting or freelancing, self-employment, or a part-time job, if you take your Social Security before your full retirement age, there's some limitations on how much you can make before there's a negative effect on your Social Security. So we can help you work through that stuff if you take that approach. Finally, income producing annuities should also be considered. Now, they can provide a stable stream of income for a set period of time, or even for life if you set it up that way. And that stream of income is very reliable, and it's not reliant on the financial market or current events or what's going on in the world. So if someone had Social Security, maybe a pension, they've got an income from an annuity that's guaranteed for life, they've got three income sources there that are set and don't have any relationship to the financial markets that can provide a stable kind of a stool or a base for their retirement income going forward. Okay. And the world of retirement and investments is constantly evolving, and keeping up with the latest trends, researching new investment opportunities, and educating yourself on retirement planning strategies can be a daunting task. And it's really all about making informed decisions. Kind of what I think about is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So you can know a lot of stuff, but then you have to apply it in a smart way that applies to you. So those things can be a daunting task. We try to help people work through that. And if they've got other things they'd rather do other than worry about their finances or staying up with this stuff, and they want to delegate that to someone that they trust, then that's where we may come in and provide that valuable consultation, that valuable advice to them. Okay. So we've explored lots of strategies today very quickly to help you generate income during retirement years. This was not meant to be an exhaustive course on retirement, but we did hit a lot of the highlights and the high points. And the key thing to remember is everyone's situation is unique. So it may be beneficial to seek personalized financial advice tailored to your specific needs. And if you'd be interested in that, there are obviously ways that you can connect with us. That stuff is in the information that you'll find with this podcast. I appreciate you joining us today for the Confident Retirement Podcast, brought to you by LPF Advisors. And we are hoping to raise the retirement confidence of everyday people to another level, one show at a time. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time. If you have any questions or comments or want to reach out, there's a very obvious and easy way to do that. Okay? Be well. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
You've been listening to the Confident Retirement Podcast with Kris and Mark from LPF Advisors. For more information on them and retiring confidently, please visit lpfadvisors.com. If your ears are pleased and your mind is now at ease, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.